My name is David Balderson, and I'm the owner with my wife Susan of the Wayside Inn. The inn was built, we have it as circa 1780. The house had been here as a part of about a 200-acre tobacco plantation. But it's been owned by half the famous citizens of Howard County, the Dorsets, the Dorseys, the Parletts. A lot of them owned this house at one point. Everything that you see as you look around in the inn is stuff that we did when we started moving in here in 1998. Well, she was a housekeeper that had been an employee of the last lady. When I first met her, she immediately was like, so have you heard about the ghost? And I'm like, no, nobody mentioned a ghost during the closing process of buying the house, So what's the deal? She said, I would be on the second floor cleaning, but on the third floor, the floor above me, I could hear steps walking around. I heard doors would shut every once in a while, drawers would open and shut. She said there's no question in her mind that there was a spirit. She said there was a face in the bathroom, in the wallpaper in the bathroom. When we first opened up, we were not bombarded, but it was not unusual at all. And it almost always happened the exact same way. It was over breakfast time. And then one of the guests would say, can I ask you a really weird question? I'm like, okay, what? Has anybody ever said they saw or heard or felt anything in this house, like at night or anything? And I'm like, well, yeah, why? And one lady said that she heard somebody right outside her door, and she heard the doorknob start to kind of move, so she got up out of bed and thought maybe somebody was trying to get in the wrong room. Opened the door, nobody there. Went back to bed, laying there, same thing. Opened the door, nobody there. She said it happened 3 or 4 times during the night, and she was like, okay, somebody's either screwing around or there's a ghost here. The interesting thing was they all described her exactly the same way. They always said it didn't look like a lady of the house, it looked like a housekeeper or a person working. Same manner of clothes, same hair color and style. Probably about 2002, we had a young lady stay here overnight, and she asked if she could bring a friend for breakfast. And in talking to the people, the young lady mentioned that she was a medium. I said, so you want to go upstairs and see if you can find our ghost? Since you're getting a free breakfast? And she said, sure. She made me take her upstairs. I had to walk in every room with her. And then she said, now you go downstairs. And she was there for about 15 minutes and then came downstairs, and she said, oh, there's definitely a spirit here. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And she said, I feel that she is a woman between the ages of like 38 to 42. And said she was a cleaning servant here, and she's passed away and doesn't realize it. So what your people are experiencing is she's just continuing to do her job. She's just working. And suddenly said, oh, her name was Jenny. I'm like, cool. So we've always called her Jenny. The freakiest of all of them happened the week of 9/11. I had a couple that had booked to come down for the weekend, Friday and Saturday, from New York. When they walked in the door, I could tell they were really shaken. He actually worked in the World Trade Center. The only reason he was probably still alive was because he had actually missed his ferry. Everything else was fine during the time. They came down for breakfast, they chatted. But 2 weeks later, I get an email from the lady saying, has anybody ever said that they heard or saw anything really weird? my typical question. I emailed back, yes they have, why? She said, about 2 o'clock in the morning, I was awakened by somebody pulling on my leg. And I looked down, and there was this lady who was had uncovered my leg in bed and was pulling on my leg like she was trying to get me out of bed. She described her, again, exactly like everybody else described her. She said when they got home, she found out that her brother, who had been camping up in the Adirondacks with a group of friends, the group of friends got up in the morning and her brother wasn't there. And they went looking for him, and they found him dead at the bottom of a ravine. And she speculates that he had gotten up maybe to go to the bathroom or something in the middle of the night, hadn't seen the ravine, and had fallen down, and was maybe calling out to her. She said, I think that's what this ghost was trying to tell me. You need to get up. You need to get up. Your brother needs you. Jenny has left us, yes. We've added 2 major additions to this inn. And starting in 2003, we built a big addition on the side of the inn. And on top of that 2-story addition, we added another story that are 2 bathrooms that we had to tie into 2 rooms that didn't have their own bathroom. The entrances into those bathrooms used to be windows. So we had to cut through the original walls. From the day that we cut the entrance into those walls, we no longer had Jenny. And it's been since 2004. We have not had one additional guests ask us those questions that we used to get all the time. I talked to another innkeeper up in Sykesville, and she was telling us that she had the exact same thing happen. They cut a doorway out of a basement to create an entrance out of the basement. And she talked to one of these ghost hunter type people, and they told her that if you cut through the original walls or foundations of the original home, that allows any spirit that might be trapped, as you will, allow them to escape. People ask me now if I'm haunted. I'm like, well, we used to be. Are we now? I don't know. I haven't heard anything.